Hey everybody, it's Eric from GameShampoo.com here with another weekly news update. This time it's the week of August 24th, aka the week of Gamescom in Germany. So there's been a ton of news coming out naturally over the last couple of days. A lot of that stuff related to the PS4 and a bunch of new indie games that were announced for it. Stuff like The Binding of Isaac 2. I guess it's 2. I don't know if it's like an official sequel or an expansion or what. I don't remember the subtitle of it. But like New Binding of Isaac, Hotline Miami 2, Wrong Number. It's coming to PS4. Everybody's gone to the Rapture from the Chinese Room, the developers of Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, and Dear Esther. So a bunch of stuff coming out of Sony's press conference, and there's also a good amount of Microsoft and Xbox One stuff to get through. So I'm just going to dive right into it with probably the biggest piece of news, which is that we've got confirmation of launch titles for the Xbox One and for the PS4 as well. So let's start off with Xbox One. We've got this pretty healthy list of games here. I'll split them up into which ones are exclusive and which ones are not exclusive. Check the exclusivity of this Zumba game. Okay, no, that is not exclusive. Alright. So, as far as exclusives go, this November, day and date with the Xbox One, you will be able to get Crimson Dragon, which is that Kinect-enabled Panzer Dragoon style game that the sound unfortunately cut out on during Microsoft's E3 press conference. They had it around at their Comic-Con booth, but or I guess at the lounge in the Hyatt, but not in their booth. But I never got a chance to play it really. This, if I remember right, started off as a game for the original Xbox 360 and Kinect combo. I think they showed it off at like TGS a couple of years ago, along with stuff like Rise of Nightmares and that really terrible Steel Battalion game, and I just never ended up working out on the Xbox 360. So it's been pushed up to the Xbox One. Looks like they kind of want to have something to show for the Kinect in terms of day one stuff. And yeah, I have no idea what to think of this game. I'm just scrolling through some screenshots right now. I really haven't seen too much of it aside from that really brief trailer that was at E3 that, like I said, had no sound in it, so that wasn't really helpful particularly. I don't know, looks really colorful, which I like immediately, and yeah, does kind of have some echoes of Panzer Dragoon. It's from the same director, Yukio Futatsugi, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, apologies. So yeah, game kind of a spiritual successor to Panzer Dragoon. That is maybe one of the more interesting launch titles for the Xbox One to me, just because I don't know that much about it. And it could be really cool. I like Panzer Dragoon Orta. Anyway, so that's the first exclusive, Dead Rising 3, the second exclusive, and obviously we have several impressions and panel coverage kind of things of Dead Rising 3 up on the site, which is gameshampoo.com/magazine for those who are not in the loop. So, Crimson Dragon, Dead Rising 3, Forza 5, Killer Instinct, which will be free to play in kind of a weird way. You get one character for free, and then you can buy the other ones, I think, for $5 each, or buy all of them, I think, in a bundle for $20. There's 10 characters total. Or for, I think, $40, you get kind of like a season pass sort of deal where you'll get all of the DLC that they'll make for the game in the future, which I imagine includes new characters and stages, and I think it includes a couple of exclusive costumes or something like that that you'd have to buy otherwise. Loco Cycle from Twisted Pixel, which we still haven't seen a ton of. Peggle 2, which is exclusive to Xbox One for now, which is really weird because that's PopCap and EA, so you know their stuff is never exclusive for very long. So the original Peggle on pretty much everything right now. So expect to see that on other stuff. But for right now, excuse me, that is an Xbox One exclusive. We've got Rise, Son of Rome, Power Star Golf, which is, I think, a Kinect-enabled golf game for multiple players. Yeah, kind of a cartoony, going for that kind of Hot Shots sort of vibe. And Zoo Tycoon, that's right, yeah. New Zoo Tycoon game is coming to Xbox One at launch, and it will be an exclusive. And if that comes as a surprise to you, I don't blame you, because I only heard about this the other day when they kind of bragged that, oh yeah, this game is coming to Xbox One exclusively. I don't know. I guess this is going to be like a kind of a reboot of the series. Let's check it out. I do not see a Kinect little splash image on the game's box art, so I guess it's not a Kinect game, which I would kind of expect it to be. Yeah, it looks like Zoo Tycoon. Get some animals and put them in cages. I don't know. Zoo Tycoon for PC was okay. It wasn't Roller Coaster Tycoon, but you know, it's all right. So those are the exclusives. One more time, roll through those: Crimson Dragon, Dead Rising 3, Forza 5, Killer Instinct, Loco Cycle, Peggle 2, Power Star Golf, Rise, and Zoo Tycoon. So we got 9 exclusives in total. And the other games, which are going to be multi-platform, are Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, Battlefield 4, Call of Duty Ghosts, FIFA 14, Just Dance 2014, Lego Marvel Superheroes, Madden, you got your NBA 2K14, NBA Live 14, which was kind of a surprise at the EA press conference, Need for Speed Rivals, Skylanders, Swap Force, Watch Dogs, and Zumba Fitness World Party, which is going to be the killer app for sure. So those are your Xbox One launch games. And now we move up to the PS4, and this one kind of, this computer is super hot. Macs have like no ventilation in them whatsoever. This one kind of comes with a little caveat that these are only the boxed games that you're going to be able to pick up on shelves, as well as on digital storefronts. Whereas with the Xbox One list that had XBLA games like Loco Cycle and Peggle 2, and it also included boxed stuff like Rise. So this is not technically everything that is coming out at the launch of the PS4, but this is everything that you can walk into like a GameStop or a Walmart or whatever and pick up off the shelf. Exclusives wise, we've got Killzone Shadowfall, Drive Club, or as they wrote it, hashtag Drive Club, which fucking weirds me out, and Knack, and I think that's it. And then Infamous Second Son will be coming out within a couple months after the PS4 comes out, probably I think early 2014 they're saying right now. And then in terms of multi-platform stuff, it's basically the same stuff: NBA 2K14, Call of Duty Ghosts, Skylanders Swap Force, Need for Speed Rivals, Battlefield 4, Madden, FIFA, NBA Live, Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, Just Dance, and Lego Marvel Superheroes. As far as digital stuff goes, you can probably expect to see stuff like Outlast coming out, because that game is coming out in about a week on PC, and it is also confirmed console exclusive for the PS4. I know that Blacklight Retribution is aiming to be day one digital on the PS4, again exclusively. That's a free-to-play game. Warframe should be a launch title or a launch window title for the PS4 digitally. Maybe Hotline Miami 2, they announced that's coming to Vita and PS4 at some point. So again, that's not a complete list. Blacklight Retribution will definitely be out at launch. I'm pretty sure they've confirmed to me in the past that it will be. So there's other stuff coming, but that's it for now. Um, and that was kind of the big news. I'm just going to gloss over some of the smaller stuff. Obviously, they were showing off tons of games at Gamescom this week. There's a Vita price drop. It's $200 now instead of $250 for the 3G model. And no word on rumors as to possibly bundling a Vita with a PS4. They're probably going to try to move as many PS4s as possible and then move as many Vitas as possible at that new price point and then kind of merge them together maybe a year and a half from now would be my guess. Gran Turismo 6 will include concept cars as well as real cars. So, all those cars that you see on the internet that look awesome and you wonder why they never make them into a reality, you'll be able to drive them in GT6. What else? Got a bunch of Sony pseudo news. No GT6 coming to Vita. It would be really hard, they say. Batman Arkham Origins talks about the improved fighting style and kind of how to streamline the combat from the last two games. Let's see, World of Tanks may eventually come to the Xbox One, but for now it is still exclusive to the 360. Likely depends on 360 performance, but we could see a next-gen version of that. Rainbow Six Patriots is still in development, despite the fact that it was announced 4 or 5 years ago or something like that, and we haven't seen a peep of it since. Game is still in development. It has undergone some changes. People are trying to create a mind-blowing experience, and they're doing a lot of, focus testing and going back to the drawing board for a lot of that stuff. No word as to whether or not what is in development right now bears any similarity to the stuff they were showing off before, where you were kicking the guy with a bomb strapped to him off of a bridge and stuff. That stuff was kind of weird but interesting. What else do we have here? Got a look at the tech of the Order 1886, which is another high-profile PS4 exclusive coming out next year. New Battlefield 4 gameplay footage was unveiled. Killzone Shadowfall's multiplayer was unveiled in a new trailer, which looks really promising. Basically, it lets you kind of almost like Assassin's Creed 4 in the game lab, or like you do in Halo and stuff like that. You can go in and kind of get a little more granular with the way that you customize your matches, and then I presume in Killzone 2 you can kind of go in and get a list, a server list almost, of the different matches that are going on right now and kind of the different parameters that they each have, and kind of lets you get in and customize things a little bit more. I know in Killzone 2 and 3, I think, as well, you could actually make your own games and say, this game is going to exclude the team deathmatch mode, but it's going to include all the other parts, or whatever, all the other modes of Warzone. So I don't know if this is actually deeper than that, or what. I don't know if you can, chivalry style, reduce all the gravity and then just have people jumping around like crazy people, or what, but it seems like a promising step in the right direction. I always like games that have more customization in terms of their kind of like the minutia, like gravity and momentum and stuff like that. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 got a release date, and XCOM Enemy Unknown is getting DLC. So Lords of Shadow 2 will release on February 25th, 2014 for PS3, 360, and PC. And Mirror Fate HD is coming to consoles in October, according to Konami. So look forward to that if you like Lords of Shadow at all. Didn't hear a ton of great things about Mirror Fate, but it's kind of cool that they're getting a second chance on consoles. XCOM Enemy Within is the expansion for Enemy Unknown. It's going to be $40. It's going to be like a standalone thing, 30 on PC, and it's going to basically keep the main structure of the original game intact, but just present you with plenty of new scenarios, new enemies, new kind of like combat strategies, and it's going to address a lot of the complaints that people had about the original XCOM game. So you'll see like soldiers speaking their native language now instead of like a French soldier in the game would speak English still. But they're doing localized voice files and stuff like that for each of the different countries they're coming out in. Adding 40 new maps, and all those are going to be split across the different modes that are usually in the game, so like UFO crash and that kind of stuff. And oh yeah, and there's going to be a 5th class of soldier, the mech trooper, but you have to build it up in the facility, and kind of you can transform one of your current classes, like a sniper or assault or whatever, into the mech trooper, and you're going to lose all the abilities you gained for that class, but obviously you'll get a new tree and the mech trooper will be pretty powerful, so it should be worth it. New expansion for Diablo 3 was announced. It's called Reaper of Souls. It's supposed to be dark and terrifying, according to Blizzard. They're kind of trying to go back to that more medieval gothic feel that was present in the earlier Diablo games, and kind of people missed it a little bit in Diablo 3. So they're adding new types of missions where you can kind of go in either by yourself or with friends, and you'll have to fight waves of enemies or defeat X number of this type of enemy or something like that. And then when you win, you get a bunch of chests, and they are kind of remixing their dungeon system, and they're creating randomized outdoor dungeons as well as the randomized underground dungeons that are common of these types of games. So that looks interesting. No word on the price yet or on the release date, although kind of assuming next year maybe. Minecraft is coming to the PS4, and Sony has announced a PS3 to PS4 trade-up program with participating current and next-gen titles. So, like, for example, if you go out and buy Call of Duty Ghosts on the PS3, you can then trade up to the PS4 version for $10, and all of your data from the PS3 version will carry over to the PS4 version, so you won't have to worry about starting over, you won't have to worry about losing any progress. It should be really smooth. So that way you can kind of get in on the ground floor on day one, but then you can upgrade to next gen for a really reasonable price. There's a Playroom app coming pre-installed on every PS4, which is basically like the Kinect Labs equivalent for PS4. You can kind of mess around with the camera if you buy a camera, or mess around with certain aspects of the controller's motion sensing and stuff like that, which looks kind of interesting. Borderlands 2 is coming to the Vita. Gran Turismo 6 has received a release date for later this year, December 6th, 2013, so right before Christmas, right after that holiday rush. What else? We got a Battlefield 4 beta that's coming in October, and a FIFA 14 demo coming in September. To get into that Battlefield 4 beta, I believe you had to buy a Medal of Honor Warfighter, so that's like 12 people that are going to be in that beta. There's another way to get in, or there are other ways to get in, but they haven't really been discussed yet, so we'll have to stay tuned for that stuff. What else? Ubisoft announced The Fighter Within for the Xbox Kinect for Xbox One. This is a fighting game developed by Dayoka and Ubisoft, which delivers the long-awaited motion fighting promise, allowing players to throw punches and kicks in the most immersive competitive brawling experience. One-to-one precision movement tracking for all of your fighting moves, so that should be amusing. Motion fighting typically doesn't tend to work out that well. Rise Son of Rome on the Xbox One will be full of microtransactions in the multiplayer. Apparently that $60 wasn't quite enough for them. So, like Mass Effect 3 Online, you buy these kind of booster packs that have armor and weapons and stuff like that inside of them. And you can pay real money to get those booster packs, so you can get upgraded armor and stuff like that by paying extra money. Ghosts will have dedicated servers on the Xbox One. Fable Legends was announced for the Xbox One. I almost forgot about that one. This is kind of a full-fledged Fable sequel-ish kind of thing. It's not Fable 4. It's a 4-player Fable game. Actually, I think it's a 5-player Fable game. I have to read into this a little bit, but it's a multiplayer Fable game. I kind of forget because there's so much news coming out this week if it's 4 or 5 players. Yeah, it's a 5-player game, and 4 of you guys are the heroes, and then one of you is kind of like the dungeon master / villain, and you basically have to set up traps as the villain and kind of try to funnel all the heroes in such a way that you kill them. And so if you're the villain and you kill all the heroes, you win. And if you're the heroes and you get to the other side of the dungeon and you win the objective, then you obviously win. So it's kind of a competitive and co-op sort of split at the same time, which sounds interesting. Not sure if they're going for any of the open world stuff of past Fable games. They haven't talked about any of that stuff, although I kind of doubt it with a structure like that. And I think that is just about everything that was reported at Gamescom. So I guess I should mention that PS4 will be getting 33 games in 2013. So if you're worried that launch lineup earlier sounded a little sparse, which it kind of did, don't worry, because there will be 33 games out for the PS4 in 2013, so by the end of December. And 180 games are currently in development for the console, so that means we've got about 150 games to look forward to next year or the year after next. Obviously, relating to Sony, the big news over the last week was that the PS4 will be coming out on November 15th for $400 in America, and I believe it was November 26th in the UK. Uber Entertainment announced Toy Rush for mobile devices, so this is basically a really cute kind of tower defense game where you're building up toys using various cards. So the cards you get determine what kind of towers you can build, and then all these toys will come in and rush your base, and you have to use stuff like Nerf-style guns to defend the base. Typical tower defense stuff, but I think the card mechanic could be kind of interesting. Good Old Games revamped their submission process specifically to appeal to indie gamers, so now you can actually have a one-on-one conversation with GOG, and they'll actually tell you whether or not you get accepted, what they think of your game. So if you get denied, they'll tell you why they denied your game. If you get accepted, they'll tell you what they like about it. Seems like a really transparent and open system, which is nice. Xbox One pre-orders through Amazon UK are not guaranteed for launch after August 15th, so if you've pre-ordered over the last 8 or so days, then you may not be getting your console in time. So watch out for that. I've heard Game in the UK may still have a few pre-orders open. A rumor was going around pre-Gamescom, which was not confirmed at Gamescom, and you'd think that would be where they would confirm it, but just report it anyway because it would be really cool. Rumor is going around that a major third-party title would be bundled with the Xbox One when it launched, and that would be in addition to the Kinect and the controller, the headset, and all that stuff. EA revealed a mobile Dragon Age game called Heroes of Dragon Age. It's going to be free to play, and it's going to tie into past Dragon Age games in some way, and also tie into Dragon Age Inquisition, which is coming out, I guess, next year for next gen. GTA 5 Online was revealed, and there's a big trailer and everything to go along with that. Batman Arkham Origins got a collector's edition priced at $120, which includes a ton of stuff. There's a huge statue of the Joker standing in front of a bunch of TV models, TV panels, which are showing various villains from the game. And it has like LED lights and everything stuck in it. It's produced by Triforce. It's 9 inches tall, 11.5 inches deep, and 13 inches wide. You'll also get an 80-page full color hardcover art book measuring 7.5 inches by 10.5 inches by 5 inches. Interesting that they are very specific with the measurements. You get 2 key pieces of evidence which kind of look like a tooth from Killer Croc and then a poker chip. You get a Batman Wanted poster, a prototype schematic for the Batwing, an Anarchy logo stencil, a glow-in-the-dark map of Gotham City, a Wayne family photo, an Assassin's Intel dossier which includes files on 8 of the Assassins as well as a copy of Black Mask's contract. The first appearance Batman skin designed to look just like Batman did in his first comic appearance in Detective Comics number 27, the Deathstroke Challenge Pack, Necessary Evil Supervillains DC Comics documentary from Warner Bros. Home Entertainment, which focuses on DC Comics' most terrifying villains, and the PS3 edition will also include the Nightfall Pack. That bonus DVD Blu-ray thing will not be available in Australia or New Zealand, by the way. Call of Duty Ghosts got a huge multiplayer blowout, and the special editions were leaked a little bit early. So instead of a crazy car or a drone or whatever, this year's version actually comes with a high-definition video camera. So they showed off some of that stuff at the multiplayer reveal. They had guys like tape the camera to their heads or whatever. It looked kind of dumb, but that's what you get this year. You get a high-def camera. Payday 2 has 1 full year of DLC incoming, which should hopefully alleviate the issues with kind of repetitive nature of that game, because you're really just kind of banging your head against these 12 missions over and over again. NVIDIA leaked GTA 5 PC for a fall release and then immediately backpedaled on that and said that no, we have no idea, we have no knowledge of a GTA 5 release. So initially the quote was, "The PC market is evolving as entry-level laptops face pressure from tablets, yet sales of specialty PCs like gaming systems and workstations continue to grow. The disparity reflects how consumers use these different classes of PCs. Many consumers look for a PC as a general-purpose device that they can use for browsing, email, social media, and video. But much of this can be better served by a tablet. In contrast, gamers are preparing their systems for a strong roster of games coming this fall, including blockbuster franchises such as Call of Duty Ghosts, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Assassin's Creed 4. So, Rockstar Leeds has been hiring a bunch of staff with a specialty and kind of a focus on PC lately. So it seems kind of obvious that GTA 5 will come to PC eventually. The whole this fall thing, maybe not, maybe, seems pretty iffy, but immediately after that, they came out and they said, like, hey, well, actually, we have no knowledge of a GTA 5 in development for PC, so take that one with a grain of salt, but the evidence kind of is there to support it. Don't be surprised if you see GTA 5 on PC. After all, GTA 4 moved like 1 million units on PC, so there's good reason to get it out on there eventually. And then finally, we've got this article on Project Phoenix, a new JRPG from Kickstarter, which features Nobuo Uematsu, as well as a bunch of other genre veterans. Got people from Diablo 3, Halo 4 as well working on the game. It looks really, really promising so far, although all they're really showing off are screenshots. And that is, in a really long nutshell, the news for the last week. Lots of Gamescom stuff happening. As far as releases go, Amnesia: Machine for Pigs is now up for pre-order on Steam. You can get it for $15.99, which is 20% off of the normal $20 you'd have to pay. Also got a few other games out on Steam. recently, let's see, Hate Plus released for $8.99. It's 10% off. Usual price will be $10. Let's see, Electronic Superjoy. Oh, looks like that hit full release. That was in early access just a few weeks ago. So, looks like it is officially done now, which I gotta say, that is the fastest turnaround I think I've ever seen on an early access game, so good for them. Skullgirls came out on the 22nd for $15. Bitmap 2 Material is out now for $40. That's 20% off of the regular $50 price. And that's basically, well, I'll just read the description really quickly. Basically, Bitmap 2 Material is an incredibly powerful tool that helps you generate full, seamlessly tiling materials, normal map, height map, specular maps, etc., from any bitmap images. It gives life to your games by automatically extracting normal, specular, ambient, occlusion, curvature, bump, and height maps. So, basically, it's a modeling and game development tool. It's always nice to see stuff like that coming out on Steam. Gets that out to a wider audience and lets me look at that stuff from kind of like peeking through the window, kind of a fly on the wall sort of perspective, because I don't understand a lot of that stuff too well, but I find it really interesting. A few other recent releases. Obviously, there was the big three last week of Splinter Cell, Saints Row, and XCOM: The Bureau. In terms of sales, it seems like Splinter Cell kind of came out on the tail end of that at first, but it's been seeing some really strong reviews lately, and we've got Saints Row 4 and XCOM, so we've been doing some stuff with those. XCOM seemed like it was doing pretty well at first, but that Metacritic average just kind of tore it down. It really is just a poor man's Mass Effect. I really don't like that game very much. So if you didn't really decide on any of the three from last week, it kind of sounds like the best one is Splinter Cell, which kind of feels weird to say because I feel like that game wasn't getting a lot of really positive hype at first and kind of came off looking like the Splinter Cell game that nobody wanted, but it actually looks pretty good, so maybe check it out. I'll probably check it out at some point. We had Dive Kick, the 2-button fighting game where all you can do is dive up in the air and then shoot yourself forward with a dive kick. It's one-hit KOs on all that stuff. It's actually a really intense game. Played a little bit of it at PAX East, where they had that really goofy big arcade button 2-button controller. And yeah, it's more tactical, I think, than you would probably expect at first from a 2-button fighting game. So check that out if you like the concept of fighting games, but not necessarily like the super complex combos and everything. Ravaged Zombie Apocalypse is on Steam right now for 33% off. It came out on August 19th. It's $10 right now, usually $15. It's a multiplayer FPS with a focus on vehicular combat. Sir, You're Being Hunted is $20 on Steam. It is a British horror tweed roguelike or something like that, where you kind of roam around. You gotta eat food and keep yourself energized or else you'll die, but also you have to hide from these people who are hunting you. So that's about it for Steam releases. Thank God we had Might and Magic 10 Legacy on early access as well. I should mention that. That's $30. Looks pretty cool. Kind of like the classic Might and Magic sort of deal. As far as games coming out over the next week, we've got my personal most anticipated game of the next week, Shelter, on Steam, which is a game where you play as, I believe it's a family of badgers. Yep, you're a mother badger, and you have to shelter your cubs from harm, which includes hunters like, eagles and hawks and stuff like that, as well as foxes. And you've got to find food for them, and you've kind of just progressed through these levels and experienced these different aspects of living in the wild. You've got to hunt frogs to feed your cubs. You've got to go through a burning forest at one point. So it looks like a really interesting game. It's definitely really different. I'm really excited to check it out. Also, we've got Pixel Junk Monsters Ultimate coming to Steam. It's normally $20, but you can pre-order it for $17. This was obviously a really big hit on the PlayStation Network years and years ago, and this version is adding, I guess, all of the DLC from that original game. I don't remember what that DLC actually entailed anymore, but it's everything that you could get for that game for $20. Lost Planet 3 is out on the 27th. It's $50 on PC, 60 on consoles. Have previews up on the site of the game, specifically one from Comic-Con. I don't recommend pre-ordering that game. Maybe wait for reviews and other impressions, because my gameplay demo at Comic-Con was finished code as far as I know, and it wasn't super fun. So maybe wait on that. Castlevania Lords of Shadow Ultimate Edition is coming to PCs for $29.99. It's $27 right now on sale for that pre-order deal. If you're looking for action and somehow you weren't satisfied with anything that came out last week, that game is pretty good, so that one I can recommend for fans of hack and slash. Game Dev Tycoon is an indie game where you manage your own indie game company, which is a fun concept. That was the game that got a little bit of recognition, kind of humorously so, for its piracy stance, where eventually, if you pirated the game, your games that you were making in the game would sell like 3 million copies or something, but they still wouldn't turn a profit. You'd just be breaking even all the time because people would pirate the shit out of your game. So that's kind of like a good way of showing people how pirating games actually affects the sales and kind of the business end of games development. It actually does have a really huge impact on the money they bring in. So that was really interesting. So I'm interested in that game, firstly because of the way they handle piracy, and now also because I think it looks like a cool game. So it's coming out on Steam on the 29th. And it's going to be $7. The Chaos Engine is coming out on the 29th as well. I remember looking at this before. I think it's a steampunk game where you fight. I'm going to open this in a new panel. This is a steampunk adventure set in the Victorian age, in which one or two players must fight the hostile creations of the Chaos Engine across 4 dynamic landscapes and take part in the ultimate battle. Choose from 6 hard-nailed mercenaries, each with their own unique weapons and skills. So it's kind of a top-down 2D. Really almost reminds me of like Smash TV or something. The way it looks, the visuals and stuff, very 16-bit Genesis style visuals. And that's going to be $10. And then finally we have Guardians of Middle-earth. It's coming to the PC at last, almost a year after it came out on consoles. It was promised as a console exclusive, but obviously wasn't super successful. So this is a MOBA set in the universe of Lord of the Rings. I thought it was pretty fun as someone who doesn't really play much of the MOBA genre. And the way they're kind of putting this game out seems a little bit much, maybe. It's $20 for the core game, $17.99 if you pre-order it. But then you have all of these packs. You've got the Warrior Bundle, the Striker Bundle, the Defender Bundle, the Tactician Bundle, the Enchanter Bundle, and the Company of Dwarves Bundle. So you've got 7. You got 6 bundles that come out, and each of those are $15 as well. So it's going to be another $90 that you can spend on this game, in addition to the original $20. And each of the bundles includes a couple of characters. Looks like 5 characters. Yeah, so each of the bundles includes 5 characters and 10,000 gold that you can use in the game. So, I mean, you can spend like $110 on this game right off the bat, which is crazy. So I'm not totally sure about that. I feel like the free-to-play kind of method of Dota 2 seems like the ideal way to do a MOBA to me. But yeah, the game is pretty fun. I don't think it's going to tear anybody away from Dota or League of Legends, but that is also coming out on the 29th, so if you like Lord of the Rings, maybe look out for that. So that's everything that's happening next week, as far as we know. And that's everything that happened last week, so stay tuned for more news. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. And head over to www.gameshampoo.com/magazine to read all this news and see all these trailers and stuff like that.